Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And thanks for checking out the Art of Money podcast. My name is Mark Owens alongside Art McPherson and Luke McCarty. All the information for the McPherson Financial Group, you can find it at theartofmoneyradio.com. You know, Luke, as we get started this weekend, it's been in the headlines across, Fox Business, CNBC, Bloomberg, all across social media, the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, it depends on who you hear it from. Some people say your taxes are going up. Some people were saying the cost of living is about to go down. Give me the 10,000-foot view. What is your take on it, and what does it mean for our bottom line?
Sure. So the 10,000-foot view. Now, I did dive in a little deeper this week on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, McPherson Financial Group, you can see a video with some more charts and a little more details. But for the radio, 10,000-foot view, you now get more tax credits for an electric vehicle. Obamacare credits are going up, and they are spending $3 billion to fund IRS services, so they will answer the phone. But here's the kicker. $45 billion is going to IRS enforcement. So right now, I think the percentage of people who are audited is around 1%. Not very much. It may go up to 3 or 4%. Still not very much, but to triple or quadruple the amount of audits you're doing on your citizens, it just seems like the government's getting bigger and they are spending more money.
The whole IRS thing, they want like another 87,000 agents. They're coming after us. But what have we complained about? And we've done it on this show before, that we file our tax returns, but the IRS is so understaffed, they're so backlogged that we're not getting refunds for a year and a half away. In the end, is this going to help kind of expedite some of the work of the IRS, or are they just going to be coming after us?
Well, we shall see. Let's say it that way. So the IRS notoriously has not put the money in that area. They've been putting in kind of the wrong area. So customer service would be a great thing, because we actually have one here in Brevard County. We can't even go to the local IRS office. They are shut. So it'd be nice to see some of those things open back up so you have better communication. You can walk in, take care of some of your personal information that way. But when you're going after your own citizens or you're giving them a hard time, that's not usually the way you want to spend the dollars. But it is kind of in line with what Luke and I and our CPA here at McPherson Financial Group have been worried about. Our government spends a lot of money, and that means they have to take it away from us to spend. And they don't seem to have any inclination of trying to spend less. It's always spend more. So we have to make sure we protect our clients as much as possible to be able to how to protect that money, how to protect that income as it's coming out, because every last dollar that they can get from you, they will. Yeah. And you can tell just from this Reduction Act that they're going to do that.
Yeah, so it's called the Inflation Reduction Act, but some of these tax credits, right? $7,500 to buy a new electric vehicle. Well, what's that going to do? It's going to raise the price of electric vehicles because now more people will be able to buy them. So fighting fire with, I wouldn't call it gasoline, but almost kerosene maybe. Right. It's burning, but it's not blowing up. Yeah. Right? You're giving people
fighting fire with like lighter fluid.
Exactly. Yeah. You're giving people the ability to buy something they probably wouldn't have bought before to fight inflation.
So is it just a fancy name? Inflation Reduction Act sounds great, but pumping all this money into the economy, isn't this what got us in this position in the first place?
Yes, it is absolutely what got us here in the first place, by printing a lot of money to help us get through COVID. So yes, that is what created the inflation in the first place. So the way to really back inflation off is kind of what's happening right now. You have demand coming back down because people can't afford the things right now. So then as demand drops, then your prices usually go down. But what this will do is the opposite of that, because you're going to put a person that can't really afford an electric vehicle because it's out of their price point, you're giving them a tax credit to be able to go afford that vehicle now, which is going to create more demand. So like what Luke is saying, as the demand goes up, the prices go up. So then all of a sudden everybody gets priced out anyways. But now the automotive industry is benefited because they get $7,500 guaranteed throughout the process. So they reprice and all that happens. So then it doesn't really help the end user like it's supposed to.
772-281-5223. That's how you reach out to Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, and the team at the McPherson Financial Group. And if you have a portfolio and you're just curious, what is this going to mean? What is the Inflation Reduction Act? What is that going to do to my bottom line? And more importantly, what's it going to do to my nest egg? And let me ask you this, Art McPherson. What should we do right now to prepare for this upcoming Inflation Reduction Act?
Well, we'll see what happens, right? So they're going to try to get it passed through the House. And one of the things that is in the bill, and Luke and I are looking at this right now, it looks like they had said all along that this would not affect anybody over, just $1 million and up on income levels. But it looks like about 85% of the base is going to have some sort of tax increase. So unfortunately, that's usually what happens because the wealthy usually don't pay the tax. It usually comes from the middle class. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at. And what can we do? Well, want to make sure that you've got Roth money. You've got non-taxable income coming in the door so that you don't have to pay tax on it because it's tax-free. So having those buckets, like I have put in the book, nothing is certain but death and taxes until now. We want to make sure you've got some of that tax-deferred money, tax-free money, and not all taxable money. So those are the things that we're working on a lot with our clients right now when they come in the door. How do we move those buckets? And like Mark said last week on the radio, getting our clients to that perfect tax return where we've gotten their income low enough that not only is their income tax-free, they're no longer having to pay tax on their Social Security too.
And the other big question I know people are asking right now is about the stock market and have we hit the bottom? Analyst Eddie Gabor told Fox Business that we have a lot yet to overcome.
So we're not going to bottom until we hit a bottom in regards to the rate of change on corporate profits, until the dollar gets weaker, until the yield curve changes, and until inflation comes in tame. That's not going to change overnight. And this is why our thesis is we are going into a recession. I think it'll be a mild recession, but I believe we're going to take a major leg lower in the coming months unless the Fed pivots, because we're heading to a recession in our opinion.
I think he's correct on his assumptions up front, but I think because he's correct on those assumptions, the Fed will pivot. They're going to have to. So as the economy is already showing the signs of being in a recession, so whether you change the definition or not, we have gone through 2 negative quarters of GDP. That is technical recession. So before it gets really bad, where you go into a full-blown recession like we did in 08, 09, the whole, subprime mortgage market meltdown, I don't think we're anything close like that. But we're definitely in a slowdown period. The price of fuel has dropped some because demand has dropped. We have people in our office that are carpooling together because we went from $2.35 a gallon last year to where we're, still right now today close to $4 a gallon. So it was really bad when we were at $4.50, $4.60 a gallon, but it's come back some, about 50 to 75 cents depending on the gas station. But those kind of things make an impact and the economy is slowing. So typically the Fed, once inflation is kind of peaked and starts coming off its highs, they won't have the pressure anymore to continue to raise. Once that changes, that's what Luke and I feel like is going to drive the bus for a while.
Yeah, and we feel like the Fed is going to pivot. They don't have a meeting in August. Their next meeting is in September. Well, you get to September, you're getting, close to midterms, right? Our TV screens are going to be blown up by a bunch of things.
Awesome.
All those political ads that are coming.
Election year ads.
Great. Yeah, midterm ads are coming. And so, the Fed wants to stay out of it because half of the political party will disagree and half will agree. So they just want to be out of it, in my opinion. So they're going to slow down. Now, this is, of course, if inflation is slowing down as well. But when the Fed pivots, it provides more growth in the stock market because that means they're no longer raising rates as fast. One thing to consider in the pivot strategy, right? The jobs number 2 weeks ago was really good. So the economy added more jobs than expected. What the Fed's watching is if they raise rates too fast, it's going to hurt employment and it's going to hurt the economy even more. But with a good jobs report, it could give them a little longer of a leash. So we're not predicting big recession, something really bad happening soon. But I think the Fed has a little bit longer of a leash now to pivot because the jobs market's still really good.
So what it sounds like, too, is when it comes to the economy and it comes to inflation, like the name Inflation Reduction Act, well, that just sounds fantastic. That sounds like everything's going to be roses and they're going to take care of our bottom line. But the reality is this is an election year. So everything is going to be spun to make it seem like, hey, everything's going great and we're going to work harder to make it better for you.
Exactly. That Inflation Reduction Act is like 765 pages. If you watch the YouTube video, I'll find out some interesting things of where the money's going that they don't tell you.
Yeah, Luke McCarty, he broke it down for us. The Inflation Reduction Act, what does it mean to you? Tell me again where we can find the video. And there's more available on the YouTube page as well, but what do we search for?
Of course, go to youtube.com, search for McPherson Financial Group. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get all of our updates automatically.
Art McPherson, before we get out of here on this segment, I know about a year and a half ago, we were talking a lot about utilizing Zoom as the opportunity to talk to yourself and the team at the McPherson Financial Group. But for your clients and for the community that you serve. You still offer those Zoom meetings. If the gas, it has come down some, but it still can be pretty expensive just to run those errands. So those Zoom appointments are still available from the McPherson Financial Group.
Absolutely. I'll be doing 2 or 3 of them this week. So it's one of the things that we do on a regular basis. We have a lot of clients that have homes in other states, so they're not just here in Florida. They have homes in the mountains, things like that. So it's an easy way for us to communicate with them because we can share our screens. We can show all the documentation. They can see us. We can see them if they choose to let us. And then they can see our screen. So they can see all the data and all the points and all the discussion topics that we're going over.
Zoom, not just for COVID, also going to try to save you a couple of gas dollars as well. 772-281-5223. That's how you schedule that initial complimentary consultation from the team at the McPherson Financial Group.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com. We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson. Florida Insurance License number A174725.
Today's show has been a work of art.